live from BB26 Goldmont Street in La Accra. You're watching ABC Headlines. I am KHADIJAH ISSIFU. Coming up in the headlines. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been detained by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement over questions surrounding the status of his stay in the country. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union has rejected calls for the reduction of transport fares, noting that any adjustment will be considered when conditions permit. We have these and many more coming up shortly. Do stay tuned. Thankful for your time this morning. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube at ABC News GH_. Now to the details. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been detained by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement over questions surrounding the status of his stay in the country. His legal team has confirmed. According to a statement released on the matter, Ken Ofori-Atta is currently cooperating fully with ICE while his lawyers engage the authorities to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. The statement explained that Ofori-Atta has a pending petition for adjustment of status, a process under U.S. law that allows an individual to remain legally in the country beyond the validity of an initial visa. His legal team says this is a common immigration procedure and expects the matter to be resolved expeditiously. The development comes against the backdrop of serious health challenges that have kept the former minister in the United States since January 2025. His stay in the U.S. has also coincided with ongoing legal troubles back home. In November 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor charged him and others with corruption and corruption-related offenses. The case is currently at the Case Management Conference stage. Ofori-Atta served as Ghana's finance minister from 2017 to 2023, overseeing the economy during a period marked by the COVID-19 pandemic, debt distress, and negotiations with the International Monetary Fund. Police have arrested a 42-year-old commercial bus driver, Mohammed Jali, and his mate, Mohammed Jabir, for allegedly transporting a large quantity of ammunition on a bus bound for Savlugu. The suspects were arrested on Tuesday, January 6, 2026, at about 7 p.m. when officers on duty at the Kantanso Asankare police barrier intercepted a Kia Grand Bed bus with registration number AK130921. The bus, which was traveling from Accra to Tamale and onwards to Savlugu, was stopped for a routine inspection when officers became suspicious that it might be conveying prohibited items. Acting on the instructions of the divisional commander, the police conducted a thorough search of the vehicle. The search uncovered a fertilizer sack containing 1,050 rounds of AAA and BB cartridge ammunition concealed among passengers' luggage. Upon interrogation, the driver reportedly told the police that the sack had been handed to him at the bus terminal by an unidentified individual as a parcel, and that it was to be delivered to a person he knew only as a boy in Tamale. The bus was immediately impounded while the ammunition was seized as exhibits. Now, away from that, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union says any adjustment to transport fares will be considered when conditions permit, even as pressure mounts on operators to reduce fares in line with recent fuel price declines. The union's position comes amid renewed calls from energy sector think tanks and industry observers for transport operators to pass on savings from lower pump prices to commuters. While fuel costs have eased in the recent pricing window, GPRTU maintains that the broader cost structure of transport operations has not changed significantly. According to the union and some commercial drivers, key operational inputs such as vehicle maintenance, spare parts, tires, lubricants, and financing costs remain elevated, limiting the immediate scope for fare reductions. Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, spoke on ABC Midday.
We don't run transport with only fuel, you see, but the reduction of 15% lower fares that we came up with, yes, fuel was reduced at 18%, why not? But we did that with some commitments. One of the commitments was we spoke to the spare parts dealers. They agreed we should give them some time, and they will also join us in making Ghana to smile once again, of which we did. I'm right now in about, I think, 10-15 minutes ago now. I was at a servicing shop. I changed my oil filters, and the pricing, the value was the same. The oil that I changed, I buy 5 liters at 600. Before even that May reduction, it is still the same 600. But the dollar has been reduced. We know these are things that comes with the dollar. Why are they not reducing it? And what are they doing? Those in charge of these things, what are they doing about it? OPEC, yes, you are supposed to be telling us why oil and other lubricant prices have not been reduced. Why are they not talking about that? You see, at times there are certain things one does, and if you do good, you regret doing that good. It is not fine. Give us, we'll study our grievances that we have. We'll study whatever issue we have in running transport. My brother, my sister, nobody would use huge amount of money to buy transport to get into transport business again. Nobody would do. We are doing transport business because we are doing to benefit from it.
Still on this, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is renewing calls for a downward adjustment in transport fares, insisting that sustained fuel price reductions must translate into relief for commuters. According to COPEC, fuel prices recorded about 12 consecutive reductions throughout 2025, a development the Chamber believes should have a direct impact on transport costs. Speaking on the issue, Head of Research at COPEC, Paul Ofori, argues that fuel remains one of the most critical cost components in transport operations, and prolonged price drops can no longer be ignored by commercial transport operators.
Throughout the year, again, we are looking at 2025 under review. We see that in terms of reductions, we had about 12 consecutive reductions. Okay, throughout the year, that's about 7 months. If we are to add this window, that is the 2026 first window of January to the reduction, that's about 13. And in all of that, these transport unions and transport operators were able to just give us one reduction, and that was somewhere in the month of May. Apart from that, we did not see any form of reduction. Rather, we saw drivers increasing fares, at their own whims and caprices. That, I'm afraid, cannot be the order of the day. Where you have reductions translating into about 13, the consumer at the end of the day ought to enjoy some level of relief. And so it is not enough for these transport unions and operators to come and say that they have not seen any form of reduction from the spare parts operators or spare parts owners, and also the lubricant marketers. Therefore, they are standing by the fact that even though we have seen reductions in fuel prices, that alone cannot account for a reduction in transport fares. I'm afraid that reason is not rooted in law.
Okay.
And so we are urging these transport operators and unions to
In other news, the KHADIJAH Circuit Court, presided over by His Lordship George Davis Ofori, has remanded the 5 suspects who were arrested in connection with the alleged assault of Michael Quason, a teacher at the KHADIJAH Senior High Technical School, into prison custody. All 5 suspects pleaded guilty to assaulting the teacher in open court and were remanded accordingly. 3 of the suspects who were above 18 years were remanded into prison custody, while the 2 who are below 18 years were remanded into police custody to all reappear on January 20, 2026. The Eastern Regional Chairman of NAGRAT, Awunoyewu Godwin, who says NAGRAT is happy with the court proceedings, remains confident that justice will be served as a deterrent to other students. Awunoyewu Godwin also commended President John Dramani Mahama, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, and the Director General of the Ghana Education Service for their interest and swift response in the matter. President John Dramani Mahama has stated that his administration has laid a sustainable foundation for Ghana's long-term development after a year of difficult but necessary decisions and reforms. Speaking at a non-denominational Thanksgiving service at the forecourt of Jubilee House on Wednesday, January 7, 2026, the president reflected on his first year in office, describing the period as one marked by tough choices aimed at stabilizing the country. He noted that the government's focus over the past year had been on restoring economic stability and rebuilding confidence both locally and internationally.
As we look back on the past year, we do so honestly. We have taken difficult decisions. We have undertaken difficult reforms. We've laid the foundations that may not yet be visible, but are sustainable for the sustainable progress of our country. We have prioritized economic stabilization, institutional reform, social protection, and the restoration of confidence, both within our country and in the international community. The work we have begun is far from finished, but today reminds us that progress is not measured only by numbers and by charts and diagrams. It is also measured by trust that is rebuilt and correct direction that is regained. Thanksgiving must also be accompanied by recommitment. And so today, we recommit to ethical leadership, we recommit ourselves to service above self, we recommit ourselves to governance anchored in integrity, competence, and compassion. We recommit ourselves to listening, especially to the voices of our vulnerable, our youth, and those who feel excluded. And we recommit ourselves to the unity of our nation, knowing that Ghana's strength has always come from our ability to rise above division.
Ghana's inflation continued its steady decline in December 2025, falling to 5.4% year-on-year, marking the 12th consecutive month of disinflation and the lowest rate since the Consumer Price Index was rebased in 2021. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, presenting the latest inflation figures in Accra, government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu said the CPI for December 2025 stood at 261.7, up from 240.8 in December 2024, translating into a significant moderation in price pressure over the year.
The Ghana Statistical Service is releasing the Consumer Price Index and inflation figures for December 2025. These numbers are not just statistics. They describe what families feel at the market, what businesses face when they plan, and what policymakers rely on to make decisions that affect every Ghanaian. Let me begin with the headline result. In December 2025, Ghana's year-on-year inflation rate fell to 5.4%. Year-on-year inflation compares prices today with prices 1 year ago. Simply put, it tells us how much more or less it costs to live today than it did 12 months earlier. This result matters. Inflation has now fallen for 12 consecutive months, dropping sharply from 23.8% in December 2024 to 5.4% in December 2025. That is an 18.4 percentage point reduction in 1 year and the lowest inflation rate since the CPI was rebased in 2021. What this signals is clear. Ghana has moved from a period of intense price pressure to one of growing price stability. Now, let us look at what happened within the month-on-month. Inflation measures price changes from 1 month to the next. Between November and...
That's how you wrap up with the headlines this morning. For more news, visit our website at www.abcnewsgh.com and follow us on our socials at abcnewsgh_. ABC in the Morning with Abuna Mante comes up next. I am KHADIJAH ISSIFU. You have a nice day.